Exactly.
You know, like people complaining about saying how this wipe was so dead and there was no content. You don't realize that we had 2.5 maps, 30 quests, and like 14 guns. Yeah. And that was it. There was no crafting. There was no flea market. There was no hideout. There was no Kappa container. There was no f***ing anything.
Yep.
And you could play for thousands of hours because it was about the gameplay and the experience. It wasn't about it wasn't about all of the thing. Like, oh God.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the podcast, the show dedicated to talking about all the Pogcast things in life, like music, content creation, and video games. I'm one of your co-hosts, JesseKazam, the youngest, oldest man you've ever met.
And I'm Veritas, 100% not your dad, as far as I know.
And in no way affiliated to Leather Daddy. We need to clear that up. That's not Veritas.
Well, it's none of your fucking business what I do in my free time.
Oh, man. What's up, homie? So you've been streaming for a few hours, playing some Tarkov. Yeah. I'm assuming as we lead up to the History of Tarkov video. How's it feeling? I had...
Fucking boring.
Boring? Okay. I had my two of my best days in Tarkov the past 2 days, and I was wondering if it would be... Because we had some small patches the past few days. So I was interested if you were like, yo, these past few days I've been crushing. And it would be like interesting, or if it was just anecdotally I was playing better.
It's less about the way that the game is felt and more so where I'm at right now with the quests. I'm like just about to be level 55, and I've done pretty much all of the quests I could do, and I'm working on the longer term quests. So the ones I have right now are like kill Sturman 25 times. I think I have like 11 or 12 kills. Kill Killa 100 times, and I have 5 kills. I think I haven't even gone interchange in like a month.
Yeah.
Fuck. What are some of the other ones? The one that I've been struggling. The two that I've been struggling the most with are collect. Is it 15?
Oh, the cultist knives.
Yeah, is it 15 cultist knives?
Get out of here! No way.
It's gonna take me 1,000 years. I spent like a solid week just doing night raids, and I only came across the cultist once. And they absolutely destroyed me instantly.
I've been watching Deadly for 3 solid days trying to get that quest done. I've only seen him encounter the cultist twice, and they insta-killed him both times.
Yeah.
That's impossible.
And it like, isn't it that not all of them have the knives?
Only one.
Only one. So I have to come across them and win and extract.
Yes.
25 times. So it's going to take me 857,000 fucking
it is
woods raids,
because like there's always a raid where the sun's up. There's not always a raid where the sun's down. You know what I mean? Because they only come out in the specific times. So like there's times where you just can't run into them, and then you have to go in and hope that they spawn, and then you have to hope nobody else kills them, and you have to hope they don't insta kill you, and then you have to hope you don't run into anybody else on your way out.
Yeah, and then hope that they spawn in, like on woods, they can spawn fucking 20 minutes away from each other. So you go in one spot, and I'm like sitting there, I'm like, do I wait here and try to get them to, like, I literally have, like, taken off my night vision and, like, shot my gun up into the air and, like, spammed voice comms, just, like, hoping I'm, like, doing the fucking rain dance, like, trying to summon them, but they might be on the other side of the map. Then I decide after a while to go all the way over to like the sunken fucking village instead of the old original marked circle. And I'm like, what if they spawn like right as I walked away? Because you'd think like the logic might be, they spawn away from people. So maybe like I turn and walk away, and then all of a sudden they spawn. And then now I'm not,
just
do I go
running
back
away? Yeah.
After. So it's like, it's one of those things that feels, just completely out of my control, which has been one of my more frustrating kind of criticisms of the quests. Now, the one that I've been actively working on, because I have some amount of control, is I forget what it's called. The quest is called Capturing Outposts.
Oh yeah, I have that one, but I don't know.
You got to kill
what it is.
There's 45 PMCs. 15 of them need to be inside of the like med camp in woods.
Oh.
15 of them need to be inside a fortress on customs, and 15 of them need to be at pier on shoreline. So if you're at pier and you shoot someone across the road, you don't get credit for it.
You gotta.
So I literally spawn and I go the one at like the big construction, not construction, but the fortress at Customs. That at least like people go there
for
often
sure
because Scav Boss spawns there, and you know it's like a point of interest.
Yep.
But so that one I got, it took me a week of going Customs all day, and I would literally be on the grenade launcher and the machine guns just shooting into the air trying to get people to come. So, I mean, that took me forever. There'd be plenty of raids where I would go there, walk around, run around for 30 minutes, and nobody would come. And I would just hear all this commotion all over the rest of the map, and I can't leave.
Yep.
You know, so, but I finally managed to do that, and now I spent the last week on woods. I have, I think, 7 kills on woods, and that has come from like 2 raids. And I literally go there, and I take an extra gun and a bunch of shitty ammo and unsuppressed, and I just walk over there and go, bang, 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 and then just kind of sit and listen. Because I could get up on the crates and like look out in the distance, but then I'm tempted to fucking shoot them.
Yeah.
But I need them to come in.
Yeah.
Oh, so annoying, dude.
That's super interesting because like the fortress part of that is, in my opinion, perfect. Because it's like you wouldn't have to like focus that down. You could just play customs and like just be like, it
would happen over time.
I'm gonna try to avoid dorms and PvP mostly over here, and it would happen over time. That's perfect. But like the med camp and the pier will almost not happen over time, especially because those quests are designed to be endgame quests. Like if you got that quest as a level 5, well, yeah, you'll find people in there looting for Saluas. You know what I mean? You'll find people at the pier, you know, looting those safes. But at level 55, you're not going to find. They're all going to be a resort on Shoreline. You know what I mean? They're all going to be. So if it was
I'm at the point now where the only people I'm going to run into, realistically speaking, are going to be the like 2% of the player base that is at level 55 that's doing this quest along with me.
Yes. Or the 1% or the 2% of the player base that's like level 2. You know what I mean? That don't really know where they're going. I would say that you could either make it like resort and make it the lumber mill on woods, or just increase the PMC number and just say on woods. Kill 50 PMCs on woods. Because then you're just driving endgame players to play woods and play it out. You know what I mean? As opposed to like specific places. I would almost rather a more complicated solution would be to make some of the points of interest, i.e. pier and i.e. the med station, more valuable points of interest, right? Because
for sure, if Ledex spawn there,
that's why Fortress is a perfect middle ground, because it sits between other points of interest, so it's a good funnel where people go through, and there's tons of loot in there, tons of meds,
Scav
tons
Boss
of
is
food,
enough.
Scav Boss, a bunch of stuff. So between all that Fortress is like the perfect place. So you could leave it out at the med station, but maybe Sturman can spawn out there, and maybe Aletix can spawn out there, and now you're going to have traffic there in the beginning, middle, and end of a raid, so you can do that quest a lot more efficiently.
You know what? It would actually probably be better if you just think about, like, because honestly, I feel like part of it is the Scav Boss, part of it is that there's some loot there, but then the other part of it, I think the biggest part is that the location of it. It's really at the center of a bunch of different points of interest.
Yeah.
So I almost feel like either make it resort, or even if you made it like the water station and there was like a large area around the water station, just because
that would be better actually.
Like if you're going anywhere other than resort, you're probably going to pass through the water station at some point. Whereas you're not going to pass through the Scav camp on woods unless you spawn right next to it, or
that's true,
or you're exfilling 40 minutes into the raid and you happen to be coming along the water side.
Yeah, it's so close to spawns that it's really hard to. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the power station on Shoreline would be great, especially if you put some extra loot there, or Sanitar could spawn there and his goons can spawn there. Then it would be perfect, because it's a funnel. It's a choke point because of the river. You know what I mean? It's like you have to cross either a gas station there or up at the resort. So that's like a perfect right in the middle of the map.
Yeah, and you can be, and that's the other thing too, is that like there aren't a lot of places that you're going to be able to be outside of that area to like shoot in. I got a couple of kills where I was over by the construction area or over like Crack House, and you can be sniping in a window and kill someone over on the second floor. Whereas you really can only be at the pier or maybe at gas station looking down the road. Otherwise, there's nowhere else you're going to be
Yep.
But if it was at the power station, you could be in a whole lot of other places around there, even between like the resort and whatnot. Because like,
oh yeah, the platform.
You want to be in the middle of
like
that platform,
like right below the helicopter. There's like the helicopter, that platform, dude. You could prone out up there and get a great view, long range shots. It'd be great shooterborn in heaven territory too. Like that.
And there's like scav. There's always sniper scavs over there. You know, so there's always people going by and popping off shots. And if it was like a big enough radius, you know, where it was like maybe it would go out to like maybe 20 feet past. There's like that little bridge.
Yeah.
With like the river and then like the fenced in area with like the barbed wire.
Yep.
Maybe like 10 or 20 feet a little bit further. And that was like the radius.
Yep.
Because that's the other thing is that like, I'm not sure if someone's like inside of the fortress on customs and like they were to go outside of the door, I would be thinking to myself, do I not shoot them because they aren't on the concrete? They're on the grass now and that won't count. Like, I don't know.
It did count. Because, well, at least in certain places, because the quest Pest Control, that quest that I hated on reserve, was like, if you kill a scav that's just 1 foot out of the doorway, it doesn't count. Like, you know, so I was like, it's one of those things where it goes back to you're creating moments that are very antithetical to the game. So like I'm peeking a corner, shooting a scav in the leg, letting him shoot me in the arm because I was like, you got to take one more step forward, buddy. You got to, and then he takes one step in and I peek him and kill him. You know what I mean? It's like, that doesn't feel fun, you know?
It doesn't make sense. It's pointless, right?
Dude, going back to the cultists, my hot take on them is that they should be easier to fight and they should spawn way more often. Like it just feels, I don't know if that is, and it's, I don't know if that's what Nikita wants for it to, like,
I think he wants it to be more rare and less predictable. So in my opinion, that quest should be 1 cultist knife.
Yeah,
not 15.
But I agree, but I'd rather be able to fight them at least as consistently as a scav boss. You know what I mean? Like it would pull people to night raids, which I thought was one of the draws of the cultists in the first place. You know what I mean? Because Nikita's like, you know, nobody really does night raids. You know what I mean? It's like it just doesn't feel. It's hard to express any other like analogy or example because like night raids are just so not used, very underutilized. You created all new cool AI, you created all new cool lore, you created unique weapons with the cultist knife, poison, you created antidotes, you created so many interesting new and dynamic systems, and then you put them at the most underused time of day at a really low % chance across these huge maps, and you made them impossible to kill. Like 3,000 hours into this game, I have not beat them once.
Dude,
not once.
I gave this idea. Hard. I gave this idea to Nikita, and I was like half joking. His response was like a smile kind of thing, but maybe I gave him an idea. Let me find the conversation. Because I was basically like, dude, I've been trying to fucking farm the cultists for like a week now, and I can't find them. Like, it's the reason why I don't like the quests that I'm on now is because they're making me do things that I just feel like I'm wasting my time. Yes. It's like, go where nobody is and wait, and then you might be able to do something.
Yeah.
So I sit there for 40 minutes in the place I have to be. And then if the cultists don't come and the PMCs don't come, then
you've done nothing.
I've just done nothing for 40 minutes except for bore everybody in chat.
Yep.
And then the one time I'm not paying attention and I'm like, pull up my night vision, I'm talking to chat, all of a sudden the cultists come and it's like, well, what the fuck, you know?
Yep.
Like, but so I was kind of like, you know, like hoping that there was some trick or something that maybe he'd give me a hint. And he said, so I said, I've been trying to find the cultists for a week now and can't find them anywhere. A quest to collect 12 knives is going to take forever, with like a sad crying emoji face. And he said, but they are definitely present, with a smiley face. And I'm like, yeah, I go to shoreline, customs, woods. I'm like, I hang around the marked circles, fortress for like 40, 45 minutes. They never come. I said, I want to be able to take a hatchling in, put them on the marked circle and sacrifice them and have that fucking spawn. Imagine if you could sacrifice a player Like if you had the knife maybe that you could buy, like not a poison knife, but if you could stab like a hatchling and you put a Bitcoin down on the ground as like a fucking summons, then people would like it basically would cost a life and a Bitcoin, and then they would spawn on the map. Maybe not next to you, but they would, if that would guarantee a spawn. And think about it, you have to invest what 300,000 rubles in a spawn. That could be an interesting thing. It's a money pit, right? Like
I mean, I think that'd be fun. I just think they're too. I'll die on this horse. I just think they're not fun to fight right now. You know what I mean? And maybe I haven't
fought them enough.
Maybe I haven't done it enough, but that's my problem is every interaction with them has just been an instant death to either me or my teammate. The only time I didn't die to them is because they insta-killed my teammate and I just ran away. I was like, sorry, dude. I was like, you're going to get your loot bag and insurance because nobody else is going to beat the cultists. So, but I was like, I'm running away. Like, I'm not going to do it. So
I walked around forever. And then finally, the one time that I saw them, where I was looking for them, I saw like a blur in the darkness, and I'm like, what was that? And I went, and then I was shooting the scav as the scav was running away from me with M62, and I was like in the back, like hit him, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then they ran off, and I'm like, maybe I killed him, I'm not sure. So I ran forward, and then all of a sudden I turn left, and I just hear another
bang, bang,
cultist, and they go bang bang, and it was like Sturman back in the day, where it's like 2 shots insta dead.
Yep. The first 13 seconds of a cultist fight are always amazing because they scare you. You get to shoot at them. Maybe you drop one. Maybe he gets away and he maybe swings his knife at you. Maybe he poisons you and you're like, yo, this is crazy. But then inevitably within 30 seconds, you hear the tap tap of an SVD and you just fall over. You know what I mean? I want them to, I would love them to, like, we know Sturman does the bait shots, right? He'll just shoot up into the sky. Like, remember he used to do that all the time?
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah, all the time on woods. Like, within, before anybody else could get there, he would, if he was there, sometimes he would shoot off bait shots to just attract.
How do we know
PMCs?
That?
I thought
was it just because it was early?
I thought that was common knowledge. I thought that was like a thing Nikita talked about on the podcast, and that was common knowledge. Maybe I'm crazy.
If Nikita said it, I would think that it was a thing. If people are just basing it off of hearing shots, then I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. So either way, it would be sick if the cultists did that, right? Like they're like, I don't want anything crazy. Like their AI is really good. They flank, they reposition, they go from bush to bush, they hide and cover. They do everything so well. It's just when they point their gun at you, you're dead. So
I wish they just didn't have guns.
So I would vote for. I would sign me up. I would vote for that immediately. But
like, imagine if they were. I'd even let them be twice as fast, give them twice as much HP, but they've only got the knives, and you're like, yes, they're like running around. That's what I'm saying. Swiping
that's
you.
That's when they're at their best. I think it'd be cool if they were just like shooting off bait shots, and then they'd run away. So you'd be like, oh, they're over here, and you'd go over there, and they're not over there because they're shooting off bait shots or something like that. I just think that their guns, like I'm okay with them having armor. I'm okay with them being hard to see. I'm okay with everything. It's just, it feels so counterintuitive. Why did you program these amazing systems in? Like if in all reality, it's just 5 Sturmans in black cloaks at night. That's all it is. They've all got SVDs or Vepr Hunters and they all 2-tap me. It's like, lean into the things.
They use good fucking ammo too. Like if you look at the loadouts on the wiki, it's all, they've got,
and some of them can have hex grids and stuff like that. So
yeah, they've got really good shit.
So either take away their guns or make their accuracy really bad and prioritize them repositioning and trying to stab me again. Like I would love it. I would love it to be like, yo, I'm going to try and fight them and try not to get stabbed this time. I would love it if like 80% of players get stabbed. I don't ever get stabbed because I just could die to an SVD. You know what I mean? So
the only time I got stabbed was when I was literally AFK. Yeah. Standing in the middle of woods. I literally was talking to chat being like, so what happened with that? Because I got in a fight. I'm like, what happened with that fight was, I had my because I had just killed like 4 PMCs in nighttime, and I'm like, there's nobody else here.
Yeah.
Like nobody else here. So I'm like, and it was like 40 minutes of finding the body. I looted the body, and I'm like, he didn't have night vision. And I'm like thinking this crazy fight I just had with a dude without a flashlight, without night vision. I'm like, this is what he saw, chat. And I take off the night vision, and it's just pitch black. And I'm like, how the fuck could he? Oh, all of a sudden I hear behind me. I'm like,
dude,
like,
yep. So I don't know. I'd love to like ask Nikita what his thoughts are, like the player interactions with Cultists. And is that what you envisioned? You know what I mean? Like, do you like maybe make them rare in night raids, I don't know, do all the things, but make them winnable. It goes back to, I would make an argument that it goes back to when he was on the podcast and we asked him straight up, what's hardcore to you? And it's like something that you can learn from, be prepared for, and win somehow. I would submit that I do not believe an engagement with the Cultists is like that. And I think it has so much potential to be like that because of all the cool AI, weaponry, lore, all the stuff they gave them. It has some of the most potential. I would grind out night raids all the time, but I just can't win. And I'm not gonna, it's basically going night raids is like a labs raid, like the initial investment of 100,000 rubles for night vision. You know what I mean? You're sacrificing a face shield. You can buy night vision for like 30, 40,000 rubles, but if you want the good ones, you're sacrificing your face shield, you're adding an additional investment, and I just can't win. It's just 5 Sturmans and Black Hoods. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know, maybe other people have a much easier time killing them than I do, but it seemed like such a missed potential. You know what I mean? Like it was so close. It got to the like 90-yard line, and it was like, and let's give them superpowers. And it was like, oh, wait, what? Like,
I wish they were more like Tagilla. It's when Tagilla shoots you. See, when I fought Tagilla maybe 20 times at this point, and I would say I've probably beat him 14 out of the 20 times, something like that. And when I lost to him, I would say it's probably half the time. He had a gun, and it sucked. That experience sucked.
Yeah.
When I die to the hammer, it feels like I really fucked up. Like I put myself in the position where it's really easy to get in the position where you're fucked, right? Like if you let him hit you, you're kind of screwed. But if you have at least 30 rounds, you're gonna need a full mag, if not an extended mag.
Yep.
And you're going to have to dump all the shots into them, and it's going to have to be good ammo. Otherwise, you're going to have really good aim.
Yep.
Then you can, if you turn and you look at him and he starts sprinting at you with the hammer out, like, you need to kill him before he gets to you. Otherwise, you're dead. And I like that because
I like that too.
It's a different dynamic. But when you look at him and he doesn't take out the hammer and he just takes out a fucking Saiga and goes pop and you fall down and die, it's like, that sucks.
Yep.
That's not fun in the same way.
It'd be cool if the Cultists had guns, but they were low-level guns, and they would try to incapacitate you so that they could stab you. Like, if
they had to kill you with a knife.
Yeah, if they legged you or armed you, you know what I mean? And then maybe, like, you'd start healing, and then you'd hear the bushes rustle, and they'd come and they would stab you. Like, stuff like that would be so cool because it does exactly that. It provides the experience where it feels like you're punished for mistakes and rewarded for playing well. It leans into the specific type of coding and AI and lore that they want for that thing. It just like feels like such a win-win. And it minimizes the worst parts of the game, which are oftentimes like our interactions with the AI, which I know they're working on. I know they're working really, really hard on. But we have an example. Tagilla is so much fun to fight. I probably fought him 20 or 30 times too, and he is so much fun to fight when he's switching back and forth. He's flanking you, and he's chasing you with the freaking hammer. Like, that is
in the brightness of daytime factory, I'm like,
dude,
I ended the other stream like that because like I knew he was there, and I ran. He was over in like the bathroom shower stalls. I thought he was over there, and I was like, I figured, because normally what happens is if a scab goes and they like hide somewhere, they're like in idle mode until you like make eye contact with them, right?
Yep.
Well, I'm like, I know he's over there. I could kind of hear him. And as I'm going there, rather than like turn the corner and like look in the little cubby and see him, I go to turn the corner and he pops out right before. I'm and I'm like, I wasn't ready. Ready. So I just fucking ran and panicked, and I kept hitting the wrong thing. I wanted to take out my pistol because I went through 2 mags of 2 guns, and I kept pulling out the gun that was empty. And it, like, if there's 5 Tagillas that all have knives instead of 1 Tagilla with a hammer at nighttime, it would be
so sick.
Nightmare fuel.
So sick. And like have you gotten poisoned by them?
I got poisoned, then I died, and then I just healed. I mean, I died, so then I just healed with Veritas.
Like, that is another thing. This is another example. The poison is incredible. It is painful. Going back to you not, like, if you aren't prepared, if you didn't go night and bring an antidote or an augmentin, if they poison you, you can't even finish that fight. You have to run to the extraction.
Really?
It starts taking like 4 or 6. I poisoned Sealable one night with a cultist knife, so he's gone mad at me. It takes like 4 or 6 HP per second. Like, you can't out heal it. Like, you'll run out of your Salua and you just die. So nobody knows that because you die from their guns before you get poisoned. If getting poisoned from them was like an actual mechanic where you were like, I am punished for not preparing for this raid, or maybe I brought one augmented, I took it, and then later in the fight I got poisoned again. Like, every possible amazing encounter around the actual poison is lost to time. Nobody ever dies that way because they kill you first. They just kill you first. You know what I mean?
That's a really good point. I'm gonna send a message to Nikita saying, like, are you planning on tweaking the cultist behavior at all? And or would you be willing to hear some feedback on
that? That leans into all the cool stuff you did. Like, you know what I mean, with them. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know the poison was that bad. Somebody gave me a viewer kit and they gave me a cultist knife, and then somebody in chat said 10 gifted subs if you poison Sealable. I was like, bet. Whoosh. And he was like, bro. And I was like, what? He was like, I gotta go. And I was like, why? Doesn't it hit you like, just take a Propital? He was like, no, dude. And his health was just like, chung, 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 chung. And I was like, oh, shoot, I'm sorry. I didn't know. Like,
holy shit.
It's painful, yeah.
I've got 2 knives. And a lot of people don't know that if you kill somebody who has the cultist knife, it's lootable from their body. It's the only lootable melee item. Which brings me back to the days back in the day of you used to be able to loot everybody's melee item. They never lost it, but you would gain it.
Yeah. I remember that.
So yeah, that's how everybody would.
And then they started bringing in expensive melee weapons, and they were like, no.
Yeah, well, that happened as soon as the Red Rebel.
Yeah.
As soon as the melee weapon had utility, then they had to change it, basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Speaking of old things in Tarkov, you just premiered The History of Escape from Tarkov Volume 2.
Mm-hmm.
Chronicling what patch did you start with? Because you went through like
it basically went through. So the first episode was 2010, all the way to like patch 0.2, which is like the beginning of 2017. So this episode went back a little bit to the beginning of 2017. It was just 2017.
Okay.
So everything from January to December, I covered all of the major patches. So 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, and 0.5, and then some of the noteworthy events, memes, and kind of the atmosphere.
Which is crazy that in 2017 was 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, and 0.5. And in 15 days, we will have been in 0.12 for 2 years. Point 12 came out in October 2019 with reserve.
Yeah, I feel like they've changed.
Yeah, that doesn't mean anything to like how much content was added. It's just funny that they've changed
they've almost changed the versioning.
Yeah.
Because if you look at like 2000 and I don't remember the year now, and I don't have the PowerPoint up, but it's like maybe 2008 or 2009. It's like 10.7, 10.8, 10.9, like, and all of those point releases, those sub point releases are are just as significant, if not more significant. So they kind of broke the numbering convention, because normally when you have software versioning, there's the major version, the minor version, and the revision. So that would be 1.2.3.
Yeah.
The revision is usually numbered for when they do fixes or very minor changes. So that's the revision. The minor version is usually if they add new functionality and new features, but they don't change anything significantly about the whole thing. And then the major version is usually it's usually like a big difference. Like we rebranded, we've added, like when they added Flea Market, I could see that being a major version because it's like a major change to the game. It was like a whole 50% of the game got, added.
Yeah.
But so they kind of changed the numbering conventions, which makes it a little bit misleading how much progress is made.
For sure. And that's what I was saying. Like, it doesn't mean that there was no progress. During the past 2 years, some very fundamental and large things were added to the game. So it's like, it's just funny how fast it would like rip through a bunch of them in a few years ago. But the video was great. I loved how you interviewed a bunch of people about their experience. You know what I mean? I felt like that just made it was interesting to hear other people's perspectives. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't just you looking like at the good old days. You know what I mean? You had people that have been playing the game actively from then until now. You know what I mean? Clean Willers.
And I had a list of a lot more people I wanted to talk to. You know as well as I do how hard it is for two content creators to get an hour or two.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I asked a bunch of people and a bunch of people agreed to talk to me. We just couldn't line stuff up. And as you know, I'm leaving on vacation on Saturday and I'll be gone until Thursday. So maybe we could do the podcast like Friday or Saturday or something. So I really wanted to finish this episode then. I'm like, I'm not going to wait.
Yeah.
So I figure a lot of the people I want to talk to, that I'm still hoping I'll be able to talk to, can just have them in the future episodes because, this episode is really just focusing on the real beginnings of the game. And there's not a whole lot of, I don't think, like value that we would get from some of the other people I wanted to talk to, like Pestily, for example. I feel like that's going to be more interesting talking to him in like the realm of quest and flea market changes.
Yeah.
Because he'll be able to talk about like those things, and because he was involved in a lot of that stuff, and and then like I want to talk to 41 because he's the voice of USEC 3.
Yep.
But even though he played for a while before that, I can't get every content creator's full history, so it just makes sense that I'm gonna try to get more people in the next one, and I'm gonna try to touch as many, get as wide with the people I want to talk to as possible. But it's just a coordination game
for sure, which can be awful. But it was cool. It was cool to hear Clean and Will talk about their time playing the game back in the day, about how like no face hitbox and armor was crazy OP, and it was just like you had to leg people. And then the flip side, armor wasn't nearly as powerful as it is now. And it's just like, it's super interesting. I noticed a bunch of stuff watching that old footage. When I was watching the old footage, it's funny because like,
that was my goal with the video was there's a lot of telling, but I wanted a lot of show, don't tell. Like there's a lot of things that I had a giant list of 19 pages was my timeline just for this 1 year. And I had a million bullet points, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to point everything out.
Of course,
at the end, I did a little bit of, we didn't have healing animations. There's no CMS. Like, there's a few things that I wanted to make it be known, because you might not realize that, like, CMS kits weren't always in the game. Like if there wasn't a clip of it, you wouldn't know. So there's a lot of it I wanted to make clear just by showing it and hope that people would notice.
I felt like what was hard was not knowing, like, when I was watching a clip, like what patch that was. You know what I mean? Like, you can like pause it and look down, but the reason is because sometimes I would watch and I would be like, man, like TTK was so high. Like, oh my gosh, it took forever. And some of the clips in there, I was like, you just one tap that dude with a shotgun and he had like a face shield and a Gen 4 and a fast MT on. Like, how did you do that? Like, some of the clips were like, yo, the time to kill was super, super fast. And then some of the clips with like those stock weapons, the recoil, like, and you talk about this in the video where like the game would prioritize really slow controlled bursts, semi-automatic. And then there were some clips in factory, like once you said like this was towards the end where you were talking about they were adding more stuff and like the fast MT and the face shield were in the game. Some of those guns, like the M4s, the suppressed M4s, looked like it had no recoil at all, like none at all. So it was crazy how I alluded to this a little bit the other day when we were talking about this, where it's like a lot of the issues existed then. It was just the community was so small and the game was so new. And now there's so much, and you talk about this too, there was no wiki, there was no this. There's so much information, there's so much optimization, there's a best in slot for everything, there's a best route for everything. And it just makes me wonder that like a lot of the things have always been there. It just, we lean into them because we have nothing left to do. You know what I mean? So many people put so many man hours into the game that we've just optimized everything.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a few different things there. One of them, there were periods. So all the clips I showed in that video, most of them were, if it was from like Clean, Will, Dan, those were like 0.1 to 0.3.
Yeah.
If any of the clips of me was either 0.5 to, I actually included a little bit later, but it still made my point.
Yeah.
There were things that were true then, but I just didn't have clips of them.
Yep.
Because I really wasn't making a ton of content back then. So, and I didn't want to go watch 9 million people's fucking YouTube channels and steal their videos. So, but yeah, it was either 0.5 to 0.7 was like, so the thing is that there were a lot of periods of time where there were either bugs or drastically different ballistics or things where like face shields didn't work or some bullets were broken or, you know, so it's hard to tell. I'm trying to remember. There's a whole thing at the end where I'm talking about, I just have that little monologue right at the end.
Yeah.
And I basically took a chunk from my video, like almost completely unedited. My video that I made way back in the day that got like, it was one of my most disliked videos. That is, it says like, you don't need gear, like gear.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't equal success or something like that. And it starts off with like the fucking scene on like Dagobah or whatever with Yoda and Luke when he's like, try, you know, don't try, do like, you know, whatever. And I start off by showing a bunch of clips of me going up like as a scav in factory up against like just an ultimate Chad and just being like bang, bang, bang and just dying to them and me being like, well, I'm going to give up. And I show the clip of Yoda. And then after that, it's like a 15-minute thing of me as a scav, either with a Taz or a Grotch 9mm pistol.
Yep.
Just walking up and going blink and doing a perfect, you know, headshot.
Yep.
So I don't know. I'd have to look back and see like when face hitbox or, you know, was added versus when things were bugged. But it was just a montage of me taking down the best geared guys with trash tier.
Yep.
And scav loadouts back in the day were awful. Like now the scav loadouts now are 100 times better than most of my average PMC loadouts in 0.5 and 0.6.
Yeah.
The fact that I have level 4 armor and contacts.
Yeah.
You literally didn't have that. The most you saw was like a foregrip and a red dot put on top of an AK and a P.A.K.A. and a Coal Pack or maybe a Kiver. And maybe a fort if they were like uber Chad, you know, but otherwise, like you almost never came across that shit.
Yep.
And so that's the other part of it too, was that because there was no flea market, and because the amount of guns was so much smaller and the amount of attachments were so much smaller, and the amount of times you survive was also so much smaller, you'd like almost I would have 5 SKSs, but there would be one with like an OKP7.
Yeah.
And that was like, I'm taking in the one with the optic or the one with the suppressor, right? You couldn't just buy them willy-nilly. You couldn't buy optics and suppressors so easily. And or if you did, they were like mad expensive.
Yep.
So most of the time you were running around with stock guns and they were a lot harder to shoot. But if you were higher level and you had a fully kitted gun, then those guns had like no recoil.
Yep.
And, you know, so the attachments were way more significant.
Yep.
And the skills were way more significant.
And
so it was even then like people talk about the skill and gear gap now. It's smaller than it's ever been.
Yep. 100%. 100%.
Because you have access to everything. So you can buy an SKS, get a red dot and put 10 rounds of BP and you'll kill anybody you come across with a well-placed shot. Back in the day, you only had PS. You didn't have access to any optics.
Yeah.
And that was it. So you really had to be perfect, otherwise you didn't stand a chance.
And that's exactly what I was gonna talk about too, is availability. You mentioned that in the video, and it really is insane how exactly like when you can look back through the rose-colored glasses of like, man, back in the day, you know, time to kill was longer, or this or that, or we didn't have this. But then I'm confronted with watching your clips, and I'm like, okay, yeah, there might have been a bug or something, but like that super meta gun he had like no recoil, and you watch all this other stuff, and you're like, oh man, time to kill, and it really shows you how much of an impact availability has on the game. It's like maybe that meta M4 didn't have any recoil, but the amount of times you come across an M4 that had a suppressor, an optic, a foregrip, and a non-stock buttstock was astronomically low. So it felt like all the guns had more recoil back then, but in reality, it was the available guns had more recoil. And it wasn't even that they had more recoil. It was just that they didn't have any attachments. Take an AKM with no attachments into a raid right now and try and full auto that. Like, it's going to have a crazy recoil. So it really shows you how much availability completely changed the game. But understandably too, right? It's like we're testing the game. They're testing guns. You know, we've had like the OG underbarrel grenade launcher would crash everybody's client when you know what I mean? Bugs happen. Like the grenade launcher that came in would propagate damage through walls. Like, it's good that we have these things to test, but it is crazy how much of a difference it makes on the game. Just the availability of attachments, ammo, and all the different guns in the game. It's pretty wild.
Yeah. So, I mean, one of the things that like, it was hard to, it's easy to go down a rabbit hole and forget like the point you're trying to make. And I'm sure it didn't hit as hard as I wanted it to, because I'm a little ADD and when it comes to script writing and stuff. But really what kind of the point about my like monologue at the end was basically, in so many words, was saying, hey, community, in 2021, stop fucking crying about all these little things, because all these little things that you're demanding are actually making the experience worse for you. Even though that's what you want, it's making it worse for you.
Yeah.
Because if you want, I want flea market at level 1 because I need flea market at level 1. And it's like, we didn't have flea market at fucking any level.
Yeah.
And that's what the game was so fucking good then.
Yeah.
Because survival mattered, and which means that you were so much more motivated and you're so much more invested in getting better. And at no point back in the day were I mean, and I might be misremembering, but I was trying to go through old Reddit posts and old forum posts, but at least like amongst the community that I was in, I mean, even there were small up and coming streamers with 3, 4, 5 average viewers.
Yeah.
But we weren't like the Chads, but you know, we didn't want or need or demand more access to like any things.
Yeah.
We like, if I came across a dude with a fort, you know, a fast in a fort, when it was rare, now people would say, well, I'm not going to play the game because it's already halfway through the ripe and I'm giving up and everybody's a Chad. Whereas for me, it was like, I had I want more opportunities to get the god tier shit.
Yeah.
You know, like, so I'm all for it being rare, but also having it be available to me in fights. Now it's just available to you with the click of a button, and you can get anything you want. So there's no feeling of loss when you lose something, and there's no feeling of reward when you get anything, except for like the 2 things that have value. You know, like a LEDX basically, or like a Bitcoin.
And even that, we've talked in the past about how like nothing in the game is what it is in the game. It's just how many rubles is it on the flea market. Like we don't see them as items. You know what I mean? It's like you pick up a LEDX, you're like, this is 700,000 rubles. This isn't like a thing I can barter for something cool. This isn't a thing I should hold on to craft with. It's just 700,000 rubles. You know what I mean? Like that's.
It wasn't like Smoke taking 3 weeks running Shoreline over and over and over again to try to get that alkali for a spa tour.
Yeah.
Because he needed the alkali. And he was hunting for it. I mean, that actually would give you the idea of like you're scavenging out in this place where there's 1 or 2 left. And that's the reason why Therapist wants it so bad or Peacekeeper wants it so bad is because it's so rare that you would have to take that long.
Yeah.
But now it's, I need you to get this thing that's so rare. Risk your life, kill 25 people, risk everything, your literal mortality for this thing that 9,000 people are selling for nothing the flea market that I run. Like, dude, fuck off.
Keys was huge. You had to put so much work finding keys because, like, you know what I mean? The like reward you get from, like, keys are an interesting spot right now because they're kind of a joke. Like you could get any shoreline key you want for like 100,000 rubles, and all you have to do is run shoreline once, and you can pay that back. But it used to be like, this is where the key spawns. Good luck. You have to
go run to the bus.
6 weeks to find the key, and then when you found it, you're like, all right, it's money making time. You know what I mean? Like,
dude, the best feeling ever was spawning in on customs, and if you spawned in over by not boiler side, but over by like Big the trailer park.
Yep.
Running over to that bus and looking at the third to last or whatever thing to get the 310 key because the key was so rare.
Yep.
And that was like one of the places that you could reliably find it. I remember I got that on my first raid of one wipe, and it was like the greatest wipe ever because for the longest time I was the only one who could go 310. But now everybody on day one has there's 27 keys on the flea market, and then you go there and the loot sucks. So you don't even care about the key, and there's nothing there anyway. Yeah. So that's why, and most people have been saying that, like, that's why the flea market ruined the game. And it's like, well, no.
Yeah.
There's a difference between the feature conceptually being bad for the game and in practice versus in principle.
Yes.
So if you were to limit it to, like we've talked about a million times before, limit it to so where you can't get guns, attachments, ammo armor. and armor. Well, then it would be just like old Tarkov, except you could buy the things you needed to craft.
Yep.
Which could help you towards quests and other things, but you still have to search and find stuff. And when you kill somebody, you're going to find a gun that, assuming also that the trader inventory is much smaller than it is.
Yep.
Than it is now. You can't, because now you can buy or barter for everything, including quest items from traders, or get it on the flea market. Literally, you have access to everything. And people are begging for it at level 1, where it's like the fact that it's at level 20, it's arbitrary and it's lame, and I know you don't like it, but it's literally, it's like, it's hard to tell people that it's like, it's good for them and the game.
Yeah.
As soon as you get everything, you don't care anymore.
Yeah.
As soon as, if you could transport yourself from I'm just a casual and play an hour a week. If your stash was full of gear and you had infinite money, you wouldn't even play the hour a week because there'd be nothing to do and you wouldn't care anymore.
Exactly.
So cherish the fucking time, the struggle that you have now, because that's the fucking game.
Yeah. Most of the top tier players that have been playing the longest, most of them would fit in 2 categories. Either people that are going to be frustrated with every single upcoming change to Tarkov because what they want isn't what Tarkov is going to be, or they're people that are at the top, guys like Will. Like, I know Will enough that I bet I could say this for him. He's got 300 million rubles, everything he wants, and he wishes that his heart pounded as much as yours does, casual, that's only been playing 16 hours so far. He misses the way you feel. You know what I mean? Like,
see, now I don't know if I put this in the video or not, because I have a bunch of stuff I left on the cutting room floor that I'm going to try to put in the next episodes. But man, I really don't. No, I didn't put it in. I cut it out, I think. So Will says exactly that. He literally says that he's like, I streamed today for like 8 hours, and all I did was have a DVL and a pistol. And I just like sniped. I played slow and I played tactically. And he's like, sometimes it's fun to go balls to the wall, and that's what everybody loves, and that's where the clips come, and that's where my viewership goes up like crazy.
Yep.
And he's like, but I fucking hate that. He's like, Tarkov now sucks compared to Tarkov before. Yeah. And he's like, and I have everything, and it's not the same unless you artificially kneecap yourself, which is why every streamer has done some version of like the hardcore challenge. Because once you ascend to the level that everybody wants to be at, the game suddenly loses all of its luster.
Yeah. And I think that's just a not spoken about thing often, where you've got people that are really good at video games and have been playing Escape from Tarkov for a really long time. So their natural skill level means that they acquire mass amounts of wealth and they do everything in the game really in a really short amount of time. And then everybody that's new to the game sees that and they want that. And when the freaking Chads go to bed at night, they wish their raids were like the casuals. And it's this huge, weird miscommunication thing where it's like everybody wants to be the guy at the top and all the guys at the top want to be on the bottom again because they miss what that feels like. But they just know the systems of the game too well that it's hard for them to be at the bottom without artificially kneecapping themselves. You know what I mean? We want a playing field where everybody feels the struggle, where everybody feels. And so, and then when you peel one more layer back, a lot of the changes that help the casual player and disproportionately hurt the Chads are actually oftentimes resisted by the casual player. And it goes back to like, you don't know what you want. And that sounds super condescending, but it's like the civilian flea market thing. Like I did that video and there was a lot of heated discussion in the comments. And it was weird because the guys that have 100 million rubles were like, that's a good idea. And the guys with no money were like, don't take away my ability to buy a slick on the Flea. And I was like, well, how often do you buy a slick on the Flea? And they're like, well, never. I don't have 600,000 rubles. And I'm like, exactly. Like, I don't get it. So it's this weird cycle of like miscommunication where everybody wants to be where the other person is. And it's weird. It's just super weird.
Yeah. See, the difference is that, and if you don't believe us, go listen to the stories in the video and go look at all the footage. Go to any of your favorite content creators, go to their videos and sort by oldest first, and then scroll until you see Tarkov, and then watch those videos. Unless they streamed it for 2 years before they started making videos, you'll see that they'll be scared and they'll be struggling, and they're gonna. The fact that these people demand that they have the things that the other. I mean, God, this really. I can't say this without it feeling like Jeff Bezos being like. I earned my money, and these people are out of college, and they just want to be given $1 billion. It's like I understand how it it can like appear like this, but I mean, really, watch me play. I was screaming with shit geared and insta dying over and over and over and over and over for fucking months.
Yeah,
So, but I played enough, and this was back when I had a full-time job.
Yep.
And I was just playing for fun. I wasn't even a content creator. I was just recording for my friends on Facebook.
Yeah.
This was before I streamed. Basically, the whole period between November and March, those 4 months, is when I started playing Tarkov, and I wasn't a streamer. So I was but I took it. I wanted to get better. I was a casual player with a fucking normal life and a job.
Yep.
But I took the time to get better. And so like either invest the time, or if you don't have the time, then quit fucking bitching. And you know what I mean? Like,
which is why I'm really excited for at least the thought process behind Nikita talking about trying to get, we talked about this last week, to a more like vertical slice, because the miscommunication around like what the game is, not miscommunication. I'm not blaming anybody. It's just hard because I feel like a lot of people that play the game don't know what it's trying to be. Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like if you started playing the game in 2020 when the drops event happened and there was a flea market and you could get, like, if that's when you started playing the game and you've not gone back and watched all this old footage, I get it. I get that you started playing a game where you thought the premise was, I get the flea market at level 5. I get access to everything. These guys are really good. I suck. I want to get better. And then they keep making it harder and harder and harder. And on those goals are getting farther and farther away. And you're like, dude, what? Like, I empathize with that frustration. And that's why it's like, if we get to a place where at least some part of all of these really hardcore and punishing things are in the game, at least from that point, all the new players that come in are just going to know what game they're playing real quick. And then decide if they want to invest the time into it or not. You know what I mean? It's like
we used to be here in terms of difficulty, and it's slowly kind of done this. It's gone up and down and up and down, and then we were here.
And then everybody bought the game.
And then everybody bought the game. And then it went whoop, and now everybody's like, what the fuck? You're making it so hard and so impossible for us. This isn't what I signed up for.
Yes.
And then all of us over here who started over here were like, what do you mean?
Exactly.
You know, like people complaining about saying how this wipe was so dead and there was no content. You don't realize that we had 2.5 maps, 30 quests, and like 14 guns. Yeah. And that was it. There was no crafting. There was no flea market. There was no hideout. There was no Kappa container. There was no fucking anything.
Yep.
And you could play for thousands of hours because it was about the gameplay and the experience. It wasn't about.
Yeah.
It wasn't about all of the thing. Like, oh god. So
exactly.
It's like showing up to the mall and telling a fucking one of the pilgrims, you know, who was like struggling to fucking eat in the 1700s in the United States, living off of the land or whatever. Yeah. And you're like, I'm at the mall, and I'm like, you know, it really sucks that there's only one Chick-fil-A over here and there's not one on the second floor, because I really wish there was a second floor one. And, you know, the fact that Electronics Boutique, they moved and now I got to go down the escalator, and the pilgrim's like,
yeah,
what, bitch?
I get it. It's just, if you started playing the game in February 2020, it would be hard for you not to be that way. You know what I mean? Because there isn't a like, this is what we want Escape from Tarkov to be video that's pinned to BSG's YouTube channel. You know what I mean? There isn't that clear direction. And you arrive and you've got you've got Pestily, who in order to stay sane, he's doing like crazy kill Reshala with every gun in the game. You got Will, who in order to stay sane is going 1 to 40 with a Taz. You got Landmark, who's just crushing noobs' skulls left and right. And you're like, I guess.
And everybody in Twitch chat saying they have a 99% survival rate, 8 billion rubles.
So you arrive and you go, okay, that's the top. I'm here. I want to get there. And then when it feels like they move that goalpost, it's frustrating. So I empathize with it. And I've said it, we've said it, the whole like clear vision is super important. They're very obviously moving that way. In the past few months, they've made a lot more changes towards that than they had in a really long time. And then in the past week, they outlined a lot more changes moving in that direction. So I'm actually more excited for the like quote unquote vision of Escape from Tarkov now than I've been in a long time, because I think with each of these coming updates, things will get harder, access will get removed. We might go through some real growing pains where people leave the game or get like, you know, a nice ice cold slap in the face on what the game is going to be. But the more clearly defined the end result of this game is, the more that those of us that want that original vision go, this is refreshing. And the more the new players can go, maybe this isn't for me. And that's okay too. But believe it or not, as those of us that have been playing for years and years and years, the vision hasn't changed. It's just some things came and made things, you know, that access got a little too, and it tainted it for a little bit, but they've always been making the same game, and that game is hard.
You need to think about it too, kind of like think about it like parents making you get a job when you're like 15. Like, you don't want to. They know it's like going to be good for you, and you don't want to, and you don't understand, but they know it's going to be good for you. And like 5 years from now, you're going to say, no, I'm glad I did that because it gave me the experience and whatever. I hate to say it because it does just sound condescending, but like, people don't realize how good things like the weight system was, and then they toned it down, and now it's like, well, then it lost all of its bite, because all you need to do is take in one thing that you could just buy, take in a stim, and then it completely negates it. Whereas if the weight system was a little bit more punishing, there was more inertia, everything would slow down, and then it would actually make the game a lot more balanced in their favor. And it, like, there's just so many elements they just don't understand. They don't know what they don't know. And, you know, that's part of what the series is I'm just trying to communicate. Like, you might have different values than me, and that's fine. But what I'm trying to get across is, I mean, it comes down to the analogy of the moving target. Yes. And we can totally disagree on where the target should be, and that's fair.
Yes.
But if you look at where the arrow hit and you think that the target's over here, where you want it, you're going to say it's a big miss, and you're going to think you're right.
Yes.
But if you don't realize that the target has been there all along, that a bunch of these changes are actually hitting the target, then you'd realize that it's a good thing if you agree with the goals. If you don't agree with the goals, then play a different game.
Exactly. That's a great, if the target is over here and you think it's over there, that's a bad thing. If you know the target's over here, you just think it should be over here, that's totally fine. And that is a really important distinction. If we all know exactly where it is, it's okay to want it to be in different places. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's subject to their own opinion, but it's when we storm around saying, oh no, the target's over there. And then somebody goes, no, it's over there. And in reality, it's neither of those places. Well, that's when it gets really confusing and weird and misinformation and people get frustrated. It's okay to disagree. It's okay if you want to have those things, but as long as you know where the target is, you know what I mean? You might disagree with it, but
yeah, I mean that's what happens. That's what happens in most of the conversations. Is I had this talk the other day. So many people they have these debates, and everything they say is loaded with at least one, if not like a dozen, unstated major premises that basically there's so much undertone that is implied, or that's the basis for what they're saying that they don't actually say, which is, I think, a lot of the miscommunication, where someone says this feature is bad for the game.
Oh yeah,
because of this reason. And what they're not saying is, if the developers wanted to do X over here, then this feature is a miss.
Yes.
But they don't say that. They assume
there is an assumption.
The developers want. Yeah, there's the assumption, and then they never state that because they think everybody's on the same page, right?
Yep.
Oh, we all must agree that the game should be super fun for everyone, even if you have only 27 minutes per month to play the game.
Yep.
You should have infinite access to everything. Then this change, you know what? I agree. If that was their goal, then that change would be bad. It's no one's goal.
Exactly.
It's your fantasy. So it's actually good.
These unstated foundational assumptions that are the basis of their argument that are so far off that you can't argue or talk to them about it. Exactly. You know what I mean? This was bad for the game. That's just like game over, because we have to dive into what you think the game is supposed to be. We have to dive into what BSG thinks the game is supposed to be. And if those things don't match up, then you have absolutely zero say in what's good or bad for the game. You know what I mean? And it's so
until we had
hard.
Nikita on the other week. Till we had Nikita on too, there was like a 2-year period of time where nobody fucking knew.
Nobody.
And I feel like we actually that's why I really love that discussion.
Yep.
Because I feel like it was finally saying like, tell us what you want, and him being like, oh yeah, you know what? I haven't fucking said what I've wanted. All I've been doing is saying what we're doing and when.
Yeah.
Never why.
Yep. Dude, exactly. And dude, the best answer he gave me when I was like, what's the perfect raid? And he was just like, anything that tells a story. Like, that was so telling about like what he wants for the game and how that can support so many different gameplay styles. You can still play aggressive or play slow. You can do this, but I don't know. But defining what hardcore meant was a really good thing, or at least what it means to him. But yeah, I don't know. It's understandable on some level. I just wish people, wouldn't talk with so much authority. You know what I mean? Like we talk about this. We talk about this all the time. I almost like religiously try not to talk with authority, because I never assume I know exactly what somebody else is thinking or what somebody else wants to do. And when I do give an opinion, like, people ask me all the time about like, do you think the game would be better without the flea market? I never answer that question. I go, Nikita has said that they will not remove the flea market. It does not matter my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, we could get into that, but now we're into what I think the game should be. It's like, I never even answer
it's
that.
What you think the game should be, what you think it would be, and then if that's good or not. Like, you could change your opinion 17 different ways in
so
all those worlds.
I get this almost every single day. Like, you know, and whether maybe this is the first time this guy asked, maybe he's a troll. I never know, but he goes, somebody goes, like, do you think the game would be better without the flea? it doesn't matter what I think. They've made it really clear that the Flea is going to be in the game forever, but they might make changes to it. So I like to theory craft about changes that could make the game, you know what I mean? I never give my opinion on it because it just doesn't matter. You know what I mean? So it's like, I try to only answer in ways that are like based on what I know about what they want or something like that. But that's what gets me. It's the authority with which everybody speaks. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
As if they know. And it's like,
and so many of them don't know the history and the reasons why things exist. And so that's why I'm looking forward to the next few episodes, because I'm so excited to fucking part the kimono for all these experts who know everything about the game because they started playing in November of 2020 or whatever. And they think they know why Found in Raid or why run-throughs were added to the game or why, you know, these quests have, you know, these requirements or why, you know, like there's so many things that you don't realize. This thing was predicated on this decision, which was predicated on this decision, which was predicated on this decision, which was based on this other thing, because some people back in the day used to exploit and farm dog tags for their friends.
Yeah.
And it was like, that was the reason why this thing was created. That is what all of these other things were based on. And then now people are like, oh, we did this because of this thing over here. And it's like, no, it had nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
The reason why, you know, quests have Found in Raid, and the reason why Found in Raid had, you know, was the way it was because of run-throughs. And the reason why, because run-throughs were a thing because when, you know, a million years ago, there were quests that had these requirements. You know, it's like, oh God. And people think that they know what the reasons are. And so I'm excited to go through, talk about all of the things, and then also selfishly go back through all of my years of me saying, here's a prediction, and then 3 months later having it be like, the thing came true.
Oh yeah.
And then, you know, and then all the times where I'm like, hey guys, I figured out this thing that's been in the game for 2 years and it's an issue the whole time, and then a week later there's a patch that suddenly fixes it, and it's like, like the health system.
Dude. Oh my gosh.
I actually have, that's a good segue, because I actually have a little bit of an update.
Oh, okay.
Because I was slightly wrong about a couple of different things.
Oh, okay.
And I want to correct them. And I had there was a few people who, and this is a perfect example of, a lot of people always say that I can't be wrong. There was somebody in chat who had basically been like, hey, you know, something about the health system. And I was like, I don't know, man, double check it. Hey, man, you should look at this and look at this. And I did some testing. And I'm like, hey, you should double check it. Dude, maybe put together like a video or clip it. Because usually when I say that, nobody fucking does it.
Yeah.
And if it's like, I'm not going to waste my time for everybody that comes in and says I'm wrong unless they give me something. So I'm like, yeah, go clip it. He made me a video, and then I watched the video and was like, well, I mean, this is slightly compelling, but there's a couple of things it could be. So maybe try it again, but control for this, this, and this. And he's like, okay. And then the next day he comes back with another video he uploaded on YouTube because he shot his friend and his friend was recording the screen. I was like, looking at my code, looking at the screen, looking at my testing, looking at the code, looking at the screen.
Interesting.
I was like, you know what? You're fucking right. And I was wrong. Thank you. And all it took was somebody telling me that I was wrong.
Yeah.
Not in a dickish way, and putting in some fucking effort.
Yep.
That's all it takes. Just don't be a dickhead, and don't just expect me to take your word for it. Do a little bit of legwork.
Yep.
And then demonstrate it to me. And I was like, you're absolutely right. So I need to clarify. Remember how I had said that the health distribution was no longer proportional to like the zones.
Oh yeah. Like
so,
the percentage that a zone represents of the total health. Yeah.
So I basically said all you need to do is empty out the head, right? Like that was the gating factor. I was wrong about that. They still do proportionately distribute the damage, but now they proportionally distribute it to the remaining limbs.
Okay.
As opposed to before, it was they distributed it to all the limbs, including the blacked out ones.
Understood.
So what that means is all of the
head,
all
of
the
thorax,
health
and
bars,
arm, then the thorax is such a higher percentage than if you were your whole body, right?
Yeah. So, but what you'll see now is going to be the same as before, which is all of the same as before, but in a better way. Yeah. All of the health bars, when you shoot a blacked out limb, they're all going to move exactly the same, but they're going to move a lot faster because now it's you're taking, 50 damage, 50 damage, 50 damage. Before it was like 50, 40, 38, 36, 22, 28, like it was much, much, much smaller. So it's still proportionate, but now it's not proportionate to the total health. It's what's remaining. So I think that I said the head was 3% and the chest was 20%.
Yeah. Something
so now if you think about, let me pull up my calculator again. Oh, you know what? I can do this. Bam. For those of you listening audio wise, I'll try and explain. So let's just say, oh God, I killed myself.
Oh God.
Okay. So let's say this is what you're like.
Yeah. Chicken nugget.
So if you were to get shot in the leg, so if you look at the actual remaining HP, so there's 85 plus 35, right? There's those two zones.
Mm-hmm.
So your total remaining HP is 120, okay?
Yep.
So now your chest is 85 out of 120. So your chest is 70%.
Yes.
And your head
total health
is 30%. So if you were to take 100 damage, then, or let's say 50 damage, then your head would take your thorax would take 35.
Yep.
Because that's 70%. And then your head would take 15.
Yep.
And 15 is basically a little bit less than half of your head. And
35.
What did I say? 35 is a little bit less than half of your thorax.
Yeah.
So it's the same. It's the same proportion.
That does make sense.
So now, basically the end result, the difference between what I said and what is in the game now, assuming you ignore that edge case, because there's still the edge case about the limbs that have like 1 or 2 or small amount of HP, and that damage is still lost. That's still a bug. But the difference is that now, like the amount of times you'll get one shot in the leg or the stomach is much less, which is good because before the time to kill average was like 1 to 20, and then after this change it was like 1 to 8. But there were a lot more cases where like one shotgun burst to your leg would kill you, or shotgun burst to your stomach would kill you, and that seems kind of broken, right? And people were like, I don't know about that. Well, someone had said, I listened to your thing, and this was who had and I hate that I forget who it was. Whoever you are, I'll shout you out next time you're in chat and I see your name. It'll instantly come to me.
Oh yeah.
But he was basically said like, hey, I tested it out, and if you were to take like Magnum Buck to the leg, it doesn't one shot you. And and my assertion was based on the number. I remember I said it was like all you need to do is 210 damage or whatever. That's not true. You need to do a little bit more than that. So really it's going to be 2 shots or maybe 3 rather than 5. So it's in my opinion, it really took the average from 1 to 20 down to 1 to 8, but with the median really being closer to 3 to 5.
Yeah.
So most of the time it's going to be 3 to 5 shots. Worst case, you're looking at 8 or 9. Worst case, best case, it's a 1 tap. I think that like bell curve is a way better distribution of time to kill than 30% of the things are 1 shot. 30% of the things you're doing no damage, and then 30% of the time it's like a 3 tap.
Yep. Yeah. No, that's super interesting. That is super interesting.
Oh, it was Tommy. Yeah. Tommy, 55, 67. Tommy, you're the best. Thank you for that.
Tommy.
Perfect example of whenever next time you see a fucking Reddit post or a tweet or whatever about me, and I say I'm never admit when I'm wrong. No, I admit when I'm wrong.
Yep.
The times that I don't admit I'm wrong, chances are you're wrong. until I get shown some reason to believe, and then I'll change my mind.
It's funny because it's like the way Tommy had to provide that information to you is the exact same way you had to provide that information to Nikita, where Nikita gets.
Ooh, that's so good. That's so true, dude.
Nikita gets compounded all day long from Twitter, which would be your chat, Twitter and Reddit. This sucks. This is terrible. This sucks. This is terrible. And he's like, how? Why? What? And nobody does any work.
Prove it.
So then you come and you're like, hey, I think this bug. And he was like, no, I think you're wrong. Just like you were like,
I was rolling my eyes
like,
I'm like, dude, no, I don't fucking think like, and I admit, I probably unfairly dismissed it. And I actually thanked him yesterday. I'm like, thank you for being persistent and not being a dickhead.
Yeah.
Because, like, if he was a dickhead, I would have called him a fucking moron.
Yeah.
And then, you know what? The truth would have been lost to history because he would have been permabanned from my chat. And I never would, because he was a dickhead.
Yeah.
But instead, he was like, I have another clip, dude. You want to see? And I'm like, nah, show me tomorrow. Or, whatever. Oh, hey, I have another clip, dude. And then, because I'm busy and I'm stubborn, but it was like, perfect fucking example of all it takes is persistence and knowledge.
And not being a dick, which is exactly how you presented the information to Nikita. You weren't like, hey, look, idiot, my code's better than yours. You were like, I really think. And he's like, show me an example. So you give him an example. He's like, well, it could be this. And you're like, all right, here's a better example. And he's like, oh, wow, you're right. You know what I mean? It was the same way where like we deal with that all the time where people come in and they're just like, yo, this happens all the time. And it's like, yeah, you know what I mean? No, for real. And it's like, okay. So it was.
I mean, that's the engineering mindset. Every time somebody from marketing or somebody from PR or whatever department would come down and be like, hey, because they would use the app that I would be working on at the company. So they'd walk down to engineering because I made friends with them and they'd be like, they'd report a bug and they'd be like, you know what? And 99 times out of 100, it was like, your phone's in airplane mode. Like that's why you're getting like a pop-up, error message for no connection. It has nothing to do with like, oh, okay. It was always some stupid user error.
Yep.
So we just get trained to be like, yeah, okay, I'll look into it because it's almost always a fucking waste of time.
Yep.
But all it takes is when someone comes and they say, hey, I double checked that I'm not in airplane mode. I did this, I did this, I did this. I tested all 3 things and I was able to control for this. And there's still this issue. I have screenshots and my logs. Do you want them? You're like, yeah. And then 2 seconds later, I'm like, you're the best. Thank you so much. Right?
Yep.
But it's when someone's like, I have 27 hours of work for you to do and just take my word for it. I'm someone you don't know in Twitch chat.
Yep.
Like, go fuck yourself.
So shout out to Tommy, the real one, the OG. That's super funny. As far as like Tarkov stuff that's going on, there's not a whole lot going on in Tarkov land. We did get a few pictures on Nikita's Instagram. Did you see any of those?
I saw, I think 2 of them. I don't know how many there are, but
so there was only like 3 maybe, and they were always like pictures of something on his desk.
He was like holding the fucking thing up behind, like, taking a picture of like a grenade or a fucking gun magazine or whatever the fuck.
It was always something on his desk, but in the background, we are almost positive these are screenshots of Lighthouse. And we
never seen any of it before.
Correct.
So.
We got some interesting stuff. One that looks like it has to be, which makes sense. I'm pretty sure as far as like the map of Tarkov, a tunnel on Shoreline, the extract tunnel, the other side of that caved in tunnel is Lighthouse. Like that is where that map begins, or at least part of it. And so there was one screenshot that looked exactly like tunnel, but like everything around it was different. So that is almost definitely like the other side. And then there was one shot that
you said it was on Instagram.
They might have tweeted him too. It might have been Instagram Reels that went away.
Nikita? I don't see him on Nikita's. It's in his story. Oh, okay. Well, I know some people tweeted it.
They'll go away, but yeah, like
I'm sure everybody and their mother saved it.
Yeah, they're somewhere. Yeah, like Nice Guy tweeted one. Actually, he retweeted them all, so if you go to his Twitter. But yeah, he's got the smoke grenade on one, and that's the other side of tunnel. And then there's one like looking up at this like crazy looking, super nice, fancy house or like big building. And then there's one looking the other way towards the lighthouse in the distance. And I'm so excited. I mean, like that's all we have. That's the first they're very obvious teases for Lighthouse, right? Like it's like Nikita's not an idiot. He's not just taking a picture of a smoke grenade on his desk and being like, lol, I forgot that Lighthouse was in the background. So that at least is something that, like, I love how they do some of this stuff. Like, I love how creative they get with like teasing and just wanting to be trolls about it. So, I mean, there's no real information. There's no like talking Tarkov next week, or there's no like trailer. We have no idea, but it does feel like it's good that we are getting something.
Dude, one of these pictures, it looks like one of the houses in Powerwashing Simulator.
Oh my God.
No, like the one with like the wooden, it has like the awning, the nice little thing in the front. Yeah. It literally looks like Powerwashing Sim. That's the first thing I saw. I thought when I saw it was like
crossover to Powerwashing Sim.
Oh my God. Add inertia to Powerwashing Sim.
Oh my God. But yeah, we got Lighthouse. Hopefully coming soon. There's not really anything other than Tarkov related. I've seen some people already start talking about like the wipe again, and like if 12-12 is gonna wipe, and
you're getting that too.
Yeah, and it's pain. Its existence is pain.
Dude, we're gonna. I think this is like an issue that's just starting to hit now with like the age of the internet and information, where information is ubiquitous, but not everybody always has access to the exact same information. So everybody is always just coming into the conversation, yes, and they're saying, "Tell me the thing, update me."
What there is there a word for
it's
that?
It's a new phenomenon. I think it's like a new thing.
Is because that is such a real thing, because we know we can get any information we want ever at any time. Somebody's always entering in the end of a conversation asking what the conversation, like, you know what I mean? Like, when's the what? Like, there's gotta be we gotta develop a name for that, because that phenomenon is something else. And it is painful.
Yeah, dude. It's the existential crisis I'm having. But everybody's answer is always, well, that's what being a streamer is about. It's like, no, it's not answering. Yeah. It's not answering directly the question of, when is wipe, or are you excited for Lighthouse or whatever, every 14 seconds for 10 hours.
Yeah.
So I don't know a way around it.
No.
I don't know.
I mean, it's just the nature of like the game, right? Like, it's the nature of the game we play. You know what I mean? Like, if you're in like, you don't get that when you play Valorant. You know what I mean? Like, when's the update? When is this? It's just like,
oh no, you do.
I guess I've never played Valorant, so I wouldn't know.
Every game no, with Valorant, it's what do you think about how do you feel about having a fucking rootkit on your computer? How do you feel about having an anti-cheat with Ring 0 access? I'm like, do you play Tarkov, 0? Right? And they're like, yeah, and I'm like, how do you feel? Well, what do you mean? I just am regurgitating a title from a Reddit thread. I don't know fucking what I'm talking about.
There's kernels, right? There's a kernel level 7. I don't know.
Yeah, it's kernel level. And then the kernel level Chinese company, Communist Party, Colonel cheater, Colonel Sanders.
We've achieved kernel level Sanders. Yeah, I don't know. So it's funny. But
you don't get that with fucking Powerwashing Sim. All you get is, wow, this game is fucking satisfying. Okay, what is it?
So that's a good example then. That's a good example. You were saying like being a streamer isn't just answering the same question. It's like it depends on what industry you're in. Like, yeah, if you could vibe with some Powerwashing Simulator, you're just vibing.
No, but everybody, it's two things. It's, why am I watching this? This is so satisfying. Or the question is, what the fuck am I looking at?
What am I? What is this?
Which is like funny if not everybody were to say it when they came in the first thing. Like,
this Streets it's like the dad joke looks crazy. Oh my God.
Imagine if you're sitting in a fucking room, at a party, and the fucking Kramer walks in and he's like, did you guys see the thing outside? And it's like, oh yeah, very funny. And then someone else comes in and opens up did you guys see it? everybody at some point is going to stop laughing and be like, we already fucking heard he told the joke, or sit down and shut up.
Yep.
But everybody thinks that they're the one coming in with like
the first time. Yep.
Basically it's some form of object permanence. It's a combination of like object permanence plus what's it called when people forget that they are not like the protagonist in the life story of the world. Like, the world doesn't revolve around me. And, it's some combination of that where, I don't know, like when I show up, the last thing to a stream, and maybe it's because I've been on the other side. Yeah. So I can't say if I hadn't been a streamer, I would be making the same mistakes. But like when I show up to a stream, I'm not going to ask a question that I know that is like the obvious question that if it's because it's something I want to know, probably somebody else has either asked it or it's in the title or there's a command for it or someone else is going to ask it. I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. Yeah. I showed up late to the party. I'm not going to barge into the conversation. I'm going to sit down and smile and nod until it's my turn to jump in. I'm not going to be like, hey guys, let's talk about what I want to talk about. I just got here.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny because most of the time, 99% of our information comes from like Twitter. Like we're live when they tweeted it out. So we saw the tweet and then my favorite thing is when people like ask a question and then they ask it again and then they're like at mods. And then it's like, you spent so much more time than it would have taken you to just acquire this information by opening up another tab on your browser.
You should have just Googled. You missed your Google search bar, bud.
100%. And it's so funny. They're like, I need Jesse or somebody in chat to answer this question, or I cannot move on with my life. And it's like,
well, that's interesting because maybe it's a symptom
exactly for that reason.
I mean, so to give them the benefit of the doubt, though, maybe it's also a symptom of there's so much information out there that we don't know who to trust. So you have to you read something on Reddit, you read something on Twitter. They're two opposite things. You have to just be like, let me go to somebody I trust.
That's a good call.
I mean, so I kind of get that, but at the same time, it's like, why do fucking
don't trust
should
me.
I be the arbiter of truth? Yeah. Like basically every day before I start my stream, the 57 hot topics I need to make commands for.
Dude.
I need to make them be the commands that people are going to try to, people come into and just randomly exclamation point Lighthouse. Like, what are you hoping is going to be the answer to that?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just going to have every tweet, every Reddit post, every leaked photo, my thoughts on the map, all the performance implications, whether I think cheaters are if it's going to run on this fucking engine. Bro. Like, how am I supposed to have everything done?
It's like, you ever work in retail?
Yes.
It's like, when you got the opening shift and before we all huddle up and, your manager's got the clipboard and it's like, all right, shorts 20% off. And you go through the checklist. It's like before I fire up the stream and you'd be like, mods, all right. We've been in this wipe for 2 months. So the when wipe questions, they're coming. Be on the lookout. Johnny, I know
we're sitting in a group. We've all got our hands in the middle.
Yeah,
we're like, all right.
I mean, like Lighthouse, you got Lighthouse this. You know what I mean? We got to, hey, can you make sure that's still in stock? We don't. Okay. All right. And then you start the stream. You know what I mean? You got to have the meetings, the pre-opening meetings.
And then no matter, you could spend 2 hours preparing and then all of a sudden it's going to be like, hey, did you hear Hyper Rat was banned? Hey, what happened with Hyper? I'm like, I don't know. I was just streaming. I don't fucking know. Well, yeah, let's answer this question about something you literally don't know anything about. And you're like, well, I don't fucking know. Well, what good are you then if you're not just a better Google that can't answer me? Actually, they basically want us to be Alexa, a real-time Alexa, for a real-time mixture of Alexa, Google, Mythbusters, fucking Ask Jeeves, and Yahoo Answers.
Ask Jeeves. It's been a minute. It's been a minute since we asked Jeeves anything.
Since I've asked Jeeves anything.
Yep.
AskJeeves.com. Is it still the same?
Ask Jeeves.
It's just called ask.com.
Where's Jeeves?
What happened to Jeeves? Poor Jeeves is fucking doing crack and giving handies out in the back alley. Yeah, I'm Jeeves. Yeah. Hey, this is Jeeves. Jeeves used to be a website.
Jeeves is out there saying,
don't spank me.
You know what I mean? Ask Jeeves.
So long since they fired me.
Dude, Jeeves is a weird name to say without the ask in front of it.
It gives me the Jeeves.
Yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? Isn't that weird where it's like something can sound completely normal, but it's like, Who's Jeeves? Ask Jeeves. Oh, that gives me one emotional reaction, but it's like, have you seen Jeeves lately? You're like,
if you didn't say ask Jeeves, if you were just like, this is my friend Jeeves, you'd be like, that's a name I've never heard before.
Ever. Yep. But then, dude, you'd have that friend, or your friend would introduce you to his friend Jeeves, and you'd be like, that's so weird. And then you'd ask your friend a question, and he'd go, I don't know, ask Jeeves. And you would just, and it would click.
And you'd be like, you'd be like, oh my God, this is 1997. I'm gonna be a bajillionaire.
Yeah.
And then you ask Jeeves to be on your webpage, and he's like, yeah, great. And then 3 years later, you realize it's a shitty brand that nobody cares about, and then you fire him, and then now he's giving handies out in the back alley for fucking $15.
And now it's just ask.com.
Worth of Marlboro cigarettes.
What if that was a new thing we did where literally any question I was asked, I just stopped playing the game, brought up a new tab that was google.com, Googled the question, and then just provided the answer that way. I just like...
Give me the question right now, and I'm going to ask.com it. What's the question? What's the hot button question today?
The hot button question? I mean, I don't know. When is the wipe?
When is the Tarkov wipe?
And I hope it's an article from Polygon from like 2.5 years ago saying it's on Thursday. Please, God.
No, it's RMT boosting, buy Tarkov bundles. Holy fuck, dude. The first 10 results are just RMT websites. And then there's an express.co.uk/entertainment/gaming/ whatever. Tarkov wipe coming soon with 0.12.11. Fuck. And it's from June 25th. Okay, so the wipe is coming 3 months ago, everyone.
Yep. Jeeves.
Thanks, Jeeves, you fucking idiot.
God.
Update. Developers battle state. Whoa, my God, dude. Okay, I'm going to read this verbatim.
Okay.
You know when you have like the parentheses and it says like sick? You know, have you ever seen that before?
Yeah.
Where it just means like this typo was in there and I'm just repeating it.
Yeah.
Just everything I'm saying, sick.
Okay.
Developers battle state game has not confirmed a Tarkov wipe date, but they have announced that update 0.12.11 launching after the current sale, scheduled end on June 26th. Hello, I am a professional fucking documentarian. What are they called? People who write.
Like journalist?
Journalist, yes. I am a journalist.
I am definitely not a computer.
And I scroll down and I see Pestely's face. Wipe is coming.
Bro, I saw something, some media thing picked up a picture of him in the Joker face paint, and I was like, oh
Christ.
Yeah, I was like, come on, have you no decency? Like, don't be that guy. Yeah.
Well, that's been our segment. Ask Jeeves.
Ask Jeeves. Yep. I'm gonna start asking Jeeves everything. No, I'm not. But yeah, so I think I mean there's not a whole lot going on in Tarky since last week. Hopefully we're getting something soon, ? I mean, one of these supplementary patches. The first one is supposed to have some optimizations, and then Unity 2019 soon. We'll see. But that's about it. I think we have been experimenting with placing a few, or actually just one, right?
So far it's just one.
Just one advertisement.
We're a real pod. Listen, chat, here's the thing. Once you hit 69 episodes,
yeah, President
Barack Hussein Obama, and his full name is important and still relevant. I haven't forgotten. No, he mandated when he was in office that you must run ads.
Yes.
After 69 episodes. So I had to go in and do a quick little ad run. I put it in the last episode.
But it was us, right? It was like you recorded it, right? It wasn't, just Joe Schmo talking about something. It was you. It was Veritas.
Yeah, I mean, I did say don't tell Jesse about this ad because I needed all of the ad revenue money for rubles. So now I'm admitting it to you now because I'm sure someone probably explained to you that I was like, listen, we got a sponsor.
Don't tell Jesse.
Don't tell Jesse because I need the money in Tarkov. But yeah, so I hope you guys like realize that, you know, we've how many hours have we, you know, dedicated to this? And it kind of goes without saying, and the people that understand don't even need us to fucking say anything. So I don't even know why we're saying anything, but we're finally starting to actually monetize our content.
Yes.
You know, and we hope that, you know, a little quick 30 or 40-second ad in a 2-hour show, you guys don't mind. We're not like trying to be corpos sellouts. We just you know, want to make money for our work, which is a novel thing.
Craziness. Yeah, so I mean, we got monetized on YouTube as well. There's like a few ads. Once again, we're trying to keep them to a relatively small amount. You know what I mean? For a 2-hour episode, you know, a few 2 or 3 ads in the YouTube video, or like 1 or 2 in the podcast on like the Anchor platforms and stuff like that. We're working on getting Mentos the Fresh Maker as the Cardinal title sponsor for the podcast.
Yeah, they blocked me on Twitter, so I think maybe you're gonna want to.
I don't think they know that it's gonna happen yet, but it's gonna happen. You know,
I basically was like, hey, you know, should I? What do you think? And
it was the screenshot.
I gave them the middle finger, you know, thing, and I thought I was like, listen, it's, you know, like the commercials, and they didn't like it, so I must have been a mistake. Getting blocked. I think they meant to reply and they hit
probably. You know, it happens.
So you're gonna have to take over the reins.
It happens with brands. But we did want to at least just mention something that we're doing that because we really appreciate you guys showing up for this. It is crazy that we're into like 71 episodes. It's been like, with all the time we've had to take off between like me taking off for the baby and stuff like that, like we're pushing up close to, you know, a year and a half of doing this, which is crazy. And it's grown a lot. It was a few months ago now, we split it off and did its own channel on YouTube. And I think we're going to kind of dive deeper and maybe even do like some content that's like shorter form of kind of bite-sized chunks. We've talked a lot in the past about like doing other cool stuff like podcast plays where we play another game or something like that. I think the more that this grows, the more that Tarkov grows, and the more that you guys want to hang out, whether we're talking about Tarkov or not, the more we want to do, you know what I mean, for you guys. And so we felt like we should at least mention that we're, you know, dipping our toes in the monetization, but we want to keep it chill, keep it fun for you guys. So
yeah, and the other thing too, I mentioned last time because we talked a little bit about the whole like TikTok power washing,
oh my
whatever.
Gosh,
I had a few people email me.
Did you really?
As like intern, like, you know, I heard, you know, you were probably memeing, but there were a couple emails. There's one most notably that I was like, you know what? I'm impressed with this email. It's a good email. I feel like I could jive with this with this person, so I ended up responding, and we were talking literally earlier today. So I think coming up pretty soon, I might be having regular TikTok music chill content. So yeah,
bro, I want that experiment so bad because I just want to know. I want to know because I came off really strong. I really do think it would be super interesting. I have watched stupider videos, you know, the entire video on TikTok, and then looked and been like, oh, this has 17 million views. You know what I mean? So I just like, I feel like one of those, you know what I mean, has got to be good. Oh, I watched another one in that category. I was going through and I was captivated by it, and it was somebody detailing a car, you know, scraping all the gunk off. Once again, it goes back to the same. It made me think of that because it was the satisfying of the power washing and stuff. I mean, like that.
Literally half of the levels in Power Washing Sim are cars,
dude.
Like an old fucking race car, and then you're just like get all the windows, and then get the trim, and then get the tires and the hubcaps, and oh, it's so good.
I'm telling you, one of them's gonna pop off. It's got the right music, and it's just gonna be.
You know
vibe.
What the best one is? I don't know how much of the game you've seen, but there's a carousel, and you can hit a button, and the carousel moves. So then you just stand there, and you point it, and the thing moves. And you're just carving out the dirt, and you're just like,
oh my god!
And as the circle comes around, you just go up and make a new row, and then go up, and there's like light bulbs like up in a row, and they're black, just covered in black. And then it goes, and all of a sudden, wow, they light up like a bright, clean light. It's like, and you just stand there,
bro,
and you can just let it spin around you. Oh God, that's the most satisfying one.
You get one like that, and you time the length of the video to like 2 phrases of the music, so you can't tell audibly when it loops, when it starts over. Dude, that's when you get like 170% watch time, because people don't even know they've watched it twice.
You just just get like 4 bars of the song or whatever and have it.
The progression starts over and you just don't even know, and you're just like watching this carousel spin around, dude.
Dude, I was talking to him, and we'll see how this goes. But I was talking to him basically being like, because it takes sometimes an hour and a half to finish a level.
Really?
So I'm like, if I give you like an hour-long clip of just gameplay, and then I give you all of my songs, just all of my MP3s, and I'm like, how much? That's a
lot of TikToks.
That's a lot of fucking TikToks, right? And that would take me an hour and 10 minutes to fucking do. You know what I mean? An hour to fucking record it and then drop it in a Dropbox with some folders. It's like shit, you know?
Yep.
So I might give that a try.
I tuned into you the other day, and you were like on top of like a building. You had like jumped up all the way, like not on a balcony. I mean, you were on the crest, the tippy top of the roof, power washing, and I was like, what the hell?
Dude, I've got like broken speedrun strat things where for some reason, vertical like poles or pillars, like trees do this, ladders do this, and the ladders are the one things you can climb. But like if you walk up to like a banister on like a deck and you just walk into it, you kind of climb it a little bit. But if you like kind of zigzag and like hit jump at the right time, you'll be like 100 feet in the air.
Jeez.
And there's no fall damage, so you can just like I come down and I just fucking do like tons of, you know, and people are like, whoa, what the fuck? And but yeah, like there'd be times where I'm just like really aggressively like wiggle, and you can like climb up a tree and then get on top of the house so that I don't have to walk all the way over and grab the fucking ladder. Yeah. But dude,
what if this was it all along? This was the game that you speedrun, and
this is where I mean, dude, I went to speedrun.com.
Did you really?
I watched one speedrun of the like intro van, and I saw what he did, and I tried to replicate it, and I was out of breath. I was sweating. My arm was sore, and it took me 4 times longer. He did the thing in like 30 seconds.
Oh my gosh.
It's whatever the opposite of satisfying and relaxing is what the speed run is. Because normally you're doing this, like your hand is like do a row, do a row, do a row. And the speed run is,
oh my god, dude,
for 30 seconds, and then he's done, and he's just carving like perfect lines and not missing any. And it's like, I tried it, and I couldn't even get one side of the car done in 30 seconds, and he was done with the whole thing. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm not speed running this game.
That's so crazy. Yeah,
no fucking chance.
It completely does the opposite of what the game is supposed to do, which is just like chill you out till like
because I can see like top level speedrunners play the game, and they're like focused, and it like looks cool. This looks like I need to go to the gym and train for like, you know, the fucking, what is it, like couch to fucking 5K training regiment, just to be able to get second place on the fucking leaderboards on Powerwashing Simulator. Like, I don't think
that is so funny. That is so funny.
And now my arm hurts.
And you didn't even break a record.
I didn't know. Just broke my collarbone.
So yeah, so I think that's about it. Anything else Tarkov or non-related on your end? I don't think.
Nope. No, I'm going to be gone, but I'll be back next week, and we'll still do the podcast. Okay. Going to Arizona.
Nice.
It's with my wife.
Vacay, right?
Yeah, so my wife and a few of our friends. So there's basically three couples.
Oh, nice.
Us and 2 couples. And dude, I'm going to have to send you pictures. I don't want to send pictures. I don't want to make them public until after we leave. Because I'm sure you could probably just go on Airbnb and like reverse fucking Google it or whatever.
Yeah.
But dude, we're kind of like celebrating. So my wife passed all eight of her exams for pharmacy licensing in 8 different states because she had to get. She's a pharmacist licensed in the state we live in, and as a part of her job, they basically were like, you have like 3 months to study and take the exams for the pharmacy license in 8 different states, and you're not allowed to study on work time.
Oh.
So for the last 3 months, she's been fucking literally back in school. She got her PhD already, and now she's back in school to study and she passed 8 out of 8, which fucking blows my mind.
That's insane.
So we're like celebrating, but the fucking Airbnb we got, it's like some bachelor shit. Like,
oh hell yeah,
Bachelor in Paradise, dude. It's the sickest fucking place I've ever seen.
That's so sick. That's dope. I
cannot wait to. I'm gonna send.
I was about to say.
I'll send you a picture.
Yeah, that is incredible. I mean, dude, your wife, that's insane. Studying for 8 tests while working a full-time job that requires a PhD to fill. Jesus. And I'm just playing some video games in my room.
You're raising the future of America.
Yeah, by answering when's wipe.
I'm raising the future of America. R-A-Z.
Oh, that's sick. But cool. So thank you guys for hanging. Another banger. If you missed it right before this stream, did you make it live? The History of Tarkov? Like, is it live on YouTube?
No, I uploaded it right beforehand. I need to like do the chapters and all the metadata, but it's uploaded. So it's going to be probably tomorrow morning. Okay. So by the time this comes out on YouTube and on like Anchor and stuff like that, the History of Tarkov episode 2 will be live on Veritas channel. Another banger of a video. I'm ready for episode 3. And yeah, thank you guys for hanging. We will be back next week, maybe a little bit later with another episode. Hopefully we'll have some more Tarkov news. It seems like it's been coming pretty quick. And yeah, until then, we'll see you on the next one. Peace.